Hey, what's going on, guys? KillerMiller here, and today I wanted to bring you guys a video on the fundamentals of Valorant. And the main reason I wanted to do this is because I think it's really good to be able to point these things out and have them on a basic understanding and just kind of written out so people can see. And then also, I think a lot of issues that people have is whenever, especially when they come to me for coaching, is most people have a general, like, whenever they come, they're just like, yo, I don't really know what the problem is. I just want you to look at everything. And so making this list is going to really make it more obvious for people to see, like, okay, maybe I don't need to look at literally everything. I think maybe my macro's bad. Maybe my mechanics are bad. And then also, just more specifically, I think my flicking and tracking are bad. I don't know. This is all hypothetical, but you get what I'm saying. So mainly to help that, and also I think it's really important to have fundamentals written out. Just so you can really kind of have an idea of things that are really important, and because some things people are really focused on that aren't as quite as important. And so that's kind of why I wanted to make this. So these are the basic fundamentals, and like I said, I'm gonna just kind of go read through them and talk about just get them all written, like getting them all out, and I have little clips that I'm gonna play behind them in order for you guys to see the very just basic stuff. So I'll go through everything, and then I'll come back and visit everything and touch on it a little bit. Now keep in mind, I'm not gonna go super in depth with movement, or not just movement, with all of them. I'm just gonna cover kind of the basic stuff, because obviously with positioning there's so much that goes into that, but I'm just gonna cover, like, you know, just the basic stuff of positioning. And like I said, because if you could just get the basic stuff down, that's really all you need to get to like a very high level of gameplay. The only time whenever you start pushing that stuff beyond the basic level is like pro play and really high, like Valorant rank / like maybe even Immortal. You can get yourself all the way up to Diamond by just mastering, or not even mastering, just getting these things down to a, you know, pretty much to a science and being comfortable with it. So yeah, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and start with the mechanical side of things, which is movement, flicking, tracking, firing, which is spraying, bursting, and tapping, and lastly you have crosshair placement. These are all the mechanical side of things for the fundamentals, and then you also have your macro side of things, and macro is basically your decision making. So you have positioning, ability usage, rotations, post plants, map awareness, and economy. So now we're going to go over all of the basic things that really entail these different fundamentals. And like I said, we'll just kind of go down the list. So we're starting with mechanics. Movement. Movement is basically how you move your character, being able to move them comfortably, get around corners properly, being able to counter strafe, which is basically, that kind of goes more into shooting things. Basically so you can be accurate whenever you're shooting, stopping your character, crouching at the right times, all that kind of good stuff. Flicking, pretty obvious, is just being able to flick to things consistently and accurately. Tracking is being able to keep your crosshair in a specific spot and move it across that spot comfortably. And then you have firing, and I was going to put this as just like spraying, but I figured I might as well just make it firing because it all applies. This is being able to spray your gun comfortably, being able to burst your gun comfortably, and being able to tap your gun comfortably. And then lastly, you have crosshair placement, and crosshair placement is extremely important. I would say it's almost the most important on this list, because at the end of the day, all this stuff doesn't even really apply. Not all of it, but a lot of this stuff doesn't even apply as much if you have good crosshair placement, and I preach this to a lot of people. You don't have to be a crazy good at spraying if you have good crosshair placement. Your flicking and tracking does not have to be like on another level, as long as you always have your crosshair, or at least consistently have it in a really good position, because then all you have to do is click. And so that's why I think this is probably I don't want to say the most important, but it's up there, if not actually the most important one of mechanics. And so that's why I think this stuff is really important. And then we also have the macro side of things, which is going to be your positioning, and this is basically where you're standing and why you're there. Maybe you're holding an angle, and why are you holding an angle? Can you get a good shot off without dying? Do you need to hold it off angle? Are you in a safe spot? That sort of thing. Ability usage is very obvious. When you use your abilities and how you use your abilities, make sure they're used properly, because you obviously don't want to use all of your utility within the first 30 seconds of the round, because then if they decide to come to your site and or you try to push a site, you don't really have anything to do it with. Rotations, this is going to be basically when to rotate over. So basically, when should I go over to a site? Like maybe the entire team's pushing it, maybe I need to anchor a site, anything like that. And then you also have your post plants, which I was going to put this with just positioning, but I think it's its own thing on its own. It's almost like a different game once you get the bomb down. And so this is where you stand for that. Like I said, pretty much the same as positioning, but I just wanted to kind of separate it because you have to stand in specific spots. Then everything else wraps into this, like ability usage, positioning, that sort of a thing, map awareness. So all that, basically how you play, how you win the round once you get the bomb down. Then you have map awareness, which is going to be, basically being aware of your map, paying attention. Now, part of this comes together whenever you factor in like rotations and stuff, but really just seeing where the enemy is, what fights they're taking, how your teammates are fighting enemies, basically just being aware of that sort of thing. Because a lot of the times, if you don't have good map awareness, you will get caught off guard by a lot of things. Like maybe an enemy will be somewhere and you didn't know they were there, but the whole time they had just walked by on your map. That's just a very basic level of it, but still, kind of the same thing. And then lastly, you have economy, which is basically how you spend your money, when to spend it, why you spend it, and how to, save it properly and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, these are all just basic coverage of these sort of things. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I didn't really want to go too in depth. I just wanted to cover all the fundamentals so you can know what they are. Here shortly, especially during the break period of the beta. So whenever the game, there's like a 4-day period that the game's just not going to be out. I'll probably be compiling some videos of what these things are more in depth and showing good examples of proper movement, proper flicking, proper positioning, that sort of a thing. But like I said, for now, I really just wanted to cover what they are so people at least have an idea of what they should be looking for. Because I think at the end of the day, especially if you're at a lower MMR, if you're focusing on something that's not on this list, I don't think it's very important. I think this type of stuff is the most important sort of a things, and even some of this stuff isn't quite as big, like even like post plants, like obviously that's huge, but you can kind of wrap that into positioning and that sort of a thing. So like I said, basically just wanted to throw it all together just so everybody's aware. And if you ever come to get a coaching session from me, I think this video is great to watch so you can have an idea of things to look for. You can tell me, yo, I think my positioning's off. Yo, I think my tracking's bad. Whatever the case may be. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is just a very sporadic video and it's super basic, but just covering everything I think was really good to do. And like I said, here within the next week or so, look out for actual coverage of these things. And that's kind of what you should be expecting, and basically how to practice things, how to look for these things, all that sort of good stuff. I'll be working on soon. So yeah, thanks guys so much for watching, and hope you guys have a great day.